It's time for another edition of Coach's Corner with women's basketball coach Matilda Mossman.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Coach's Corner with head coach Matilda Mossman, University of Tulsa women's basketball. And boy, you come into this week's play, coach, at 2-6, but easily could be a whole lot better than that with all the close losses, huh?
You know, it's been frustrating in a way, but at the same time, it gives you a sense of we're doing something right. Look at our roster, and you know, we only have 2 players that really return with a lot of experience that aren't coming back from something. You know, Tara Williams missed the season last year with ACL surgery. Liesl Spurl missed the year last year, out with a medical red shirt. Tiana Reed missed the summer and preseason, out with an ACL. So those 3 guys are all still trying to get back after being away. Erica Wakefield's doing a great job as our point guard, but this is the first year that she's really been in charge of our team. We have 3 freshmen who are getting minutes for the very first time. Ashley Hughes is a junior, but she's had limited playing time since she's been here. Jordan Holmes is a sophomore, but was injured a lot last year, so hasn't had a lot of repetition. So I really feel like we're just this young, inexperienced team, and we just need to continue to get repetition and get repetition together. And unfortunately, we've lost some close games, but fortunately, we've been in a lot of close games.
Yeah, and hampering your efforts is the in-season injuries that you've had. Lisa Sproul is back with you the last couple of games, but she was out for a while, and Tierra has also had some time out. I think she's missed the last couple of games for you. So I get the sense from you that once you cobble everything together and you got everybody healthy, that you got a chance to be pretty good.
Well, we think so. Liesl Spurl, as you mentioned, was playing fantastic at St. Louis, and we were right there in the game. And then she went out got an elbow in the face and broke a bone in her face and pushed a couple teeth backwards, and so she missed 3 weeks. And worst part of that is her mouth was wired because of those teeth, and so she was on a liquid diet, lost 10 pounds. So not only is she trying to get back in shape, but she's also trying to put some weight back on. And then the day before the Grambling game, Tierra Williams takes an elbow to the face, and so she's got concussion, and she's out for a while. So, yeah, it's just been one frustrating thing after another. But the good thing is our kids continue to come in and work hard. They continue to do what we ask them to do. And, you know, we just need a little luck to go our way here or there.
Well, and you mentioned the Grambling State game. That's one of the wins you've had over the last couple of weeks. So what about that contest?
Well, it's a game where we had balanced scoring, scored a lot of points. They did some things differently offensively than they had been doing in their previous games, and I thought our players handled that really, really well. And it was a win at home, and you know, you would hope that would give us a little bit of a springboard moving forward.
And you have balanced scoring at this point. 3 players in double figures, a couple right on the cusp at 9.9, somewhere in there. So do you feel pretty good about that?
We do. I feel good about our scoring. You know, we've been a pretty good 3-point shooting team, and in the games, close games that we've lost, basically it comes down to maybe not shooting the ball as well. We have to get better defensively. We're not very good on-ball defenders right now. That's a concern. And we early in the year, we weren't a very good rebounding team. That's gotten a little bit better. I think in our last game, we out-rebounded Indiana State significantly, and they only had like 4 offensive rebounds against us. So we have to think that's getting better, but it just comes down to getting stops. When you absolutely have to have a stop, you have to get a stop. And when you absolutely have to get a basket, we need to get a basket.
And of course that means a lot of times fourth quarter play. You know, how do you play in the fourth quarter? You've had a lead in every game you've lost in the fourth quarter. So something about end of quarter action that you got to get better at, I guess.
Yeah,
huh?
I think some of it's just decision making. We talk about attacking the basket, and especially against Indiana State, our kids really attacked the basket hard, but their defense was collapsing so quickly. We really need to be better at kicking the ball back out to our shooters, and we just didn't do a very good job of that. I think Indiana State had 4 or 5 blocks in the game, and again, that's us forcing the action a little bit too much, trying to create, and there's not anything there, and we've got to be better at kicking out because we do have good shooters on the perimeter.
And speaking of end of quarter action, you have a chance to do that a lot now with the quarter system. End of quarters, you end up having 4 of those situations, which you used to have only 2, of course, with the 2 halves. So how has that quarter system affected you?
Well, I think it's been good. It does get you a little bit more of a last end of game situation, so to speak, 4 times throughout the period. But the thing I really like is our ability to advance the ball in the last 59.9 seconds. As long as we don't pass it or we don't dribble it, we can call it. If we call the timeout, we can advance the ball up to the timeline in front of our bench. And now if you have a situation where you only have 4 seconds on the clock, instead of having to travel the distance to the floor, now we have it right there in a half-court set.
And that's one of the differences. What are any other rules changes that you've had to adapt to?
Well, the other big one is the foul situation. We no longer shoot a 1-and-1. On the 5th foul of each quarter, you now shoot 2. That hurt us in the George Mason game in Vegas because we had a 1-point lead with about 30 seconds, and then they hit a shot with about 20. Well, then we're coming down and we miss. And so immediately we foul, and you would like to think, now you've got 13, 15 seconds, they go down, miss a free throw, now you have a chance to come back and score again. But instead, because of the foul situation, we fouled. Well, it was only foul number 3, and then we had to foul again, and then we had to foul again to get them at the line. Well, that every time that runs a few more seconds off the clock. Yeah,
and that situation certainly is something you'll get a whole lot better at as you adapt to those rules. But it's 5 fouls per quarter, right? And no 1-and-1.
Right.
Those
exactly.
are the adjustments you have to make. Well, speaking of adjustments, certainly there'll be an adjustment at the Rental Center on Wednesday because big-time team coming in, number 17 OU. We'll talk about the Sooners coming up next.
Our core values form the foundation of the American.
Competitiveness.
Passion. Character.
They show our true colors on and off the court.
Respect.
Accountability. Chasing greatness.
They lead us.
Discipline.
Focus.
Trust.
They are the essence of our identity.
Family. Tradition.
We are the American Athletic Conference.
We're back on Coach's Corner with Matilda Mossman, head women's basketball coach at the University of Tulsa. And it's OU on Wednesday, number 17 team in the country coming to the Rental Center. And that's always a big time, isn't it?
Well, you know, when we came here, we had tried for several years to get Oklahoma on the schedule, and it just never worked out. And so we're excited that we were finally able to make that happen. We have a home-and-home contract with them. We'll go there next year. And I just appreciate the fact that a team like Oklahoma was willing to come here and play in our arena first. It was a deal where we needed a home game. It's right before finals. And so I'm just thankful they were agreeable to coming here first, and then we'll repay the game next year. I think when the new rankings came out last night, they're ranked number 17 in the country. They've won 7 games in a row. Their only loss was to North Texas at home. I think that was kind of a wake-up call for their team. But we're going to have our hands full. They're really good in the post position. KK Williams is a senior now. She's very, very dominating in the post. Vivi Pierre Luis is a backup, but she made the all-tournament team over Thanksgiving break. So when your backup post player is making all-tournament teams, you know, that gives you pretty good depth in the post. And Peyton Little, really good guard. She's somebody that has led them in scoring, at least to this point. So they've got good little folks and good big players. Yeah, their perimeter players are just as effective. As you mentioned, Peyton Little is leading the charge from the perimeter, and Derica Wyatt's also a very good three-point shooter. Gabby Ortiz is kind of leading the attack and facilitating, but Gabby can certainly shoot the three if need be. And they've just got so many weapons and so many different ways that they can beat you. So how do you spring the upset? We just got to play hard. You know, our kids have to play hard. I know our kids are excited about the game. 9 of our 14 players are from Oklahoma. So it's a big deal to them to get to play OU. They're playing against people they played either with or against in high school. So there's some built-in rivalries there. You know, Ashley Clark played with KK Williams at Midwest City. So lots of built-in rivalries there, lots of excitement. You know, we just have to play hard and we have to compete. All right, Coach. Well, good luck with that, and we'll talk to you next week and review that game and some others as well. Okay, we're looking forward to it. Thanks. The head coach of TU women's basketball, Matilda Mossman, and that is Coach's Corner.